Imagine a world where ketchup isn't king, but a pungent, fermented fish sauce is slashed on everything from gourmet meals to everyday bread. That was ancient Rome, and today we're diving deep into the bizarre, yet utterly pervasive, condiment known as garum. Why did the Romans love something that sounds so intense? Get ready to have your culinary preconceptions shattered. Forget everything you think you know about Roman food. This isn't just about lavish banquets and the roasted boar. We're uncovering the secret ingredient that was in virtually every Roman dish, a fish sauce so powerful, so ubiquitous, it would make even the most adventurous modern palate think twice. Prepare to be amazed by the truth behind garum. Welcome, history buffs and the food lovers. Today, we're journeying back in time to unearth the flavors of ancient Rome. And there's one flavor, one condiment, that defines their cuisine more than any other: garum. Imagine a sauce so integral to their cooking that it was practically in every single dish. We're not talking about the light, tangy fish sauce you might find in Southeast Asian cooking today. No more. Roman garum was a different beast altogether. It was a fermented, umami bomb, a deep, savory, and the incredibly pungent liquid that served as the backbone of their entire culinary world. This isn't just a story about food, it's a window into Roman society, their economy, and even their understanding of health and the medicine. By understanding garum, we understand the Romans on a much deeper level. It was the taste of an empire, from the soldier's ration to the emperor's feast. So what was this stuff? And why were they so obsessed with it? Let's find out. So, what exactly was garum made of? And how did they create this potent elixir? Well, buckle up, because the process might sound a little shocking. The basic recipe involved layering whole small fish, or just the entrails and the blood of larger fish like tuna or mackerel, with salt. They'd use a ratio of about 1 part salt to 3 parts fish. This mixture was then placed in large vats or amphorae and left out in the Mediterranean sun for several weeks, sometimes even months. Now, this is where the magic, or what we now call science, happens. The enzymes in the fish guts, combined with the sun's heat, would start to break down the fish tissue in a process called autolysis. The salt was crucial because it prevented the mixture from simply rotting and attracting flies. Instead, it guided the process towards fermentation. Over time, the fish would liquefy into a protein-rich, amber-colored liquid. This liquid was then strained off, and that, my friends, was garum. The flavor was incredibly intense and complex. We're talking about a massive umami hit, that savory, meaty taste you get from things like soy sauce or Parmesan cheese. It was salty, fishy, and deeply savory. Different types of fish and the varying fermentation times would produce different grades of garum, from the most expensive and refined to the more common, everyday varieties. Modern chefs who have tried to recreate it describe it as having a surprisingly clean, oceanic flavor, not just a rotten fish taste. It was the science of savory, perfected 2,000 years ago. You might be thinking this sounds like a niche, acquired taste. But in ancient Rome, garum was absolutely everywhere. It was the universal seasoning. From the most lavish banquets of emperors to the humble meals of common soldiers and the plebeians, garum was a constant presence. Think of it like this: in your kitchen right now, you probably have salt and pepper, maybe some ketchup, mustard, or hot sauce. Garum was all of those things, and more, rolled into one. It wasn't just used as a dipping sauce. It was a foundational ingredient. Cooks would add it to stews, marinades, and the sauces to add depth and the savory complexity. They'd drizzle it over vegetables, mix it into grains, and even blend it with wine or honey to create complex flavor profiles. Apicius, the famous Roman gourmet whose cookbook survives to this day, includes garum in almost every single recipe, from roasted flamingo to simple lentils. Its ubiquity extended beyond the kitchen. Garum was a massive industry. Cities along the coast, particularly in modern-day Spain and in North Africa, became famous for their garum factories. The sauce was packed into clay jars called amphorae, sealed, and shipped all across the Roman Empire. These jars are found in archaeological sites from Britain to the Middle East, a testament to its incredible reach. In some regions, it was so valuable it was even used as a form of currency. It wasn't just a food item, it was a cornerstone of the Roman economy. So, The big question remains, why? Why did an entire civilization embrace such a pungent and to our modern sensibilities, strange condiment? The first reason is practical preservation. In a world without refrigeration, preserving food was a constant challenge. Salt was the primary method, and the garum was essentially a way to preserve the nutrients of fish in a stable, transportable liquid form. It wouldn't spoil, making it an ideal source of protein and the flavor for everyone, especially the legions of Roman soldiers on the march. Secondly, there was the nutritional value. Garum was packed with protein, amino acids, and the essential minerals. In a diet that could often be heavy on grains and light on fresh meat for the average person, garum provided a vital nutritional boost. It was a superfood of its time, delivering concentrated nutrients in every drop. Doctors of the era, like Galen, even prescribed garum for various ailments, from digestive issues to general fatigue, believing it to be a healthy and restorative tonic. And finally, we have to talk about cultural significance. Taste is learned. If you grow up with a certain flavor, it becomes the taste of home, the taste of comfort. For Romans, the savory, umami-rich flavor of garum was simply what food was supposed to taste like. It was deeply ingrained in their culinary identity. To them, a dish without garum would be like a pizza without cheese. To us, it would just feel incomplete. It was more than just a seasoning. It was the flavor of being Roman. Now, you might be surprised to learn that while the specific Roman style of garum disappeared with the empire, its legacy lives on. The concept of fermenting fish to create a savory sauce didn't die out. In fact, it's a practice found all over the world. Think about the fish sauce, or nem pla, that's fundamental to Thai and the Vietnamese cuisine, or Worcestershire sauce, which gets its savory kick from fermented anchovies. Even the ancient Asian tradition of soy sauce comes from a similar principle of fermentation to create umami. These modern condiments are the spiritual descendants of garum. They serve the same purpose, to add a deep, savory, complex flavor that elevates a dish from simple to spectacular. By studying garum, we're not just looking at a weird ancient food, we're looking at the origins of a flavor profile that is still cherished by billions of people today. It reminds us that our ancestors were incredibly resourceful and they had a sophisticated understanding of flavor and the food science. So, the next time you splash some fish sauce into a stir-fry or add a dash of Worcestershire stew, take a moment to think of the ancient Romans. You're participating in a culinary tradition that's thousands of years old. Exploring the story of garum helps us appreciate the incredible ingenuity of ancient foodways and maybe, just maybe, it inspires us to be a little more adventurous with our own cooking. Thank you so much for joining me on this culinary journey back to ancient Rome. It's a fascinating reminder that history isn't just about dates and the battles. It's also about the everyday tastes, smells, and the meals that made up people's lives. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of garum, please hit that like button and consider subscribing for more stories from the past. Let me know in the comments what ancient food mystery you'd like to see us explore next. Until then, stay curious.